and you have to have the dreaded, terrifying, difficult conversation with perhaps one of your direct reports, perhaps with your supervisor, maybe with your business associate, or etc. I'm going to share with you in this video the number one, and yes, I did say the number one secret that will help you be able to master having difficult conversations. Now, if you are on your leadership journey and you are a woman in leadership or a man in leadership, this video is going to provide you with tremendous value if you use what I mentioned to you very carefully the next time you have a difficult conversation, because I'm going to make sure that you feel a little bit more comfortable about having difficult conversations every single day. Excuse me, that you are functioning in your leadership role. Now, if you are new to me, my name is Dr. Jacinta, and I am here to help you become an amazing communicator and amazing leader. I genuinely believe that people really do struggle with being able to communicate in very high stakes, complex situations. Therefore, on this channel, you're going to learn advanced communication skills and strategies and leadership skills and strategies that will help you to be able to communicate more confidently and concisely when you're in those very under pressure like situations. Now, if this sounds like something that is interesting to you, then you absolutely want to watch this video to the end, because this is a video that will help to shape yourself as a leader when you're in those very hard situations. I do want to share a couple quick things. If you are new to me, if you are one of my amazing subscribers, I'm so glad you're back. My practice as an executive coach and consultant works specifically with women in leadership roles. However, I have a lot of individuals on the different platforms that I have accounts on that are men in leadership, that are individuals that are leaders and have just, maybe they're thinking about leadership. They're not quite sure. Maybe they're leaders in a smaller scale, but they're thinking about going into those more senior level executive type roles. I guarantee you that you're going to learn something here in this video. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the number one secret. But before we get into that number one secret that you need to be able to master difficult conversations, this is a live video. Therefore, you are welcome to ask me any questions in the comments below that you have as it relates to this topic. There's typically a point in time when the YouTube audience will join us. Therefore, give me just a few moments to say hello to everyone when they join so that we can have a conversation about difficult conversations. Are you ready? There's a couple videos that I want to share with you that will give you a bit more strategy and some insights to equip you to manage difficult conversations. One of those is going to be your tone of voice. That's very important in difficult conversation. Your body language is important in difficult conversations. How you manage your emotions under pressure is very important in difficult conversations, and thinking on your feet. Therefore, if you take a few moments and look at my live tab here on my channel, you will absolutely be able to gain some insight. It's some really good fundamental insights for you to help you be able to communicate better. I want to say hello to all of you who are joining today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. What part of the world are you joining from today? And have you ever struggled with having a difficult conversation? Have you? Let's talk about it in the comments below. I want to say hello to Iman875. Hello. Hope you're doing well. Iman is from London. Well, welcome. I know London, it's actually pretty early London time, I think, now, because it's on my end, based out of the United States, Eastern Standard Time, and it's 8 o'clock. So I know it's probably pretty early in London right now. Thank you for the heart emojis. We have Soph in Mom. Hello, welcome. We have Tony Atkins, 3652. Hello, hope you're doing well today. UBCD for life. Don't know what you're referring to, but it sounds a bit silly. Soph in Mom says hello. Opal Bean 16s, hi. Heather Staggers 1901, hello. Well, welcome everybody. We have several individuals that are new to the channel, and I'm glad that you're here. We are talking about the number one secret that will help you be able to master difficult conversations. And if you like this information so far, this is one of the best channels for you to be at on YouTube. And I'm not saying that specifically because it's my channel, but if you want to learn how to communicate more confidently and concisely when you are in those very under pressure, high stakes situations, whether you are a woman in leadership and you're the only woman in a group, maybe you're going through an interview, perhaps you are a man in leadership and this is your first leadership role, you're going to learn a lot of information here on this channel. My executive coaching and consultation practice focuses with women in leadership, but many people on my platform are either women in leadership, men in leadership, or individuals that are thinking about leadership and have not decided if they want to go into it yet. So this is a good place for you to learn those very advanced level communication skills that will absolutely make you stand out from everybody else. All right, so we have let me go back to the chat really quickly. We have Richie Son 853 says, hi, I just subscribed. Well, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for subscribing. This is a great opportunity for you to learn those advanced communication skills that are not talked about that much on YouTube. So I appreciate you being here. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from today before we go into the #1 secret you need to have to learn how to master difficult conversations. We have Heather Staggers 1901 says, what is your name? My name is Dr. Jacinta Heather, and I'm so glad that you stopped by the channel today. We have Sophie Mom. Thank you for the gold medal. It's the Olympics going on right now, so I appreciate the gold medal. And Richie Son 853 says, I'm new. Welcome. Glad that you all are here. And Heather Staggers 1901 says, you are pretty. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So let's go into the #1 secret that you need to have to master a difficult conversation. As I mentioned before, many of you joined. There are several videos on my channel that will give you a good fundamental base to have very challenging conversations and be that person that can think off your feet. If you look at my live tab, there's videos that talk about body language, your tone of voice, managing your emotions under pressure, being able to speak confidently, how to have difficult conversations, and thinking on your feet. Those are some very general videos I've mentioned to you on my channel that you may want to take a look at if this is something that you actually are very interested in learning more about and help you in that area. So we're going to go into the #1 secret in just a moment, but let me go look at the chat. Heather Stackers 1901 says, what is your favorite color and song? Favorite color is blue. Favorite song, I don't have any. There's too many songs to list, I would say, but I have too many songs, Heather, I can think of. Let me know what your favorite color and your favorite song. All right, as I mentioned, the #1 secret. Now, let me preface this. There's a lot of things that go into having a difficult conversation. And just because I'm sharing with you the #1 secret doesn't mean that if you have just this, you will master all conversations. But if you have this skill, you're gonna do very, very, very well in those particular type of scenarios. I want to say hello to Bryden Dana. Hello, welcome. How you doing today? Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you all are joining from today. And if you are in a place where you've been struggling to have difficult conversations, let's talk about it. The #1 secret you need to have if you are trying to master a difficult conversation is eye contact. Now, I know you may be thinking, I've seen your videos and I know what you talk about and advanced communication skills. How is eye contact the #1 skill you have to have in a difficult conversation? I'm going to tell you that in just a moment. Bryden Dana is from New York. Bryden, what part of New York are you from? I lived in the Bronx. I've lived in Rochester. I visited Albany very briefly. But let me know what part of New York you're from. Now, you may be wondering, as I mentioned, well, why is eye contact so critically important when you're having a difficult conversation? Eye contact, I talk about this in a lot of my videos. If you take a look at my live tab and look at any video I talk about that speaks on the subject of eye contact, listen out for my cowboy analogy. That is my personal analogy that will help you be able to master eye contact. I'm not going to do that in this video because I have several videos that talk specifically about eye contact, but I want to share with you why it's so important for you to be able to have good eye contact when you are speaking to someone in a difficult conversation. How many of you have ever been in a difficult conversation? Let me know in the comments below, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. I have. I've been in countless difficult conversations. And one of the things that I have noticed that a lot of people struggle with when you are in difficult conversations or in conversations in general is the ability to maintain eye contact. How many of you have ever struggled with being able to maintain eye contact with someone? Let me know in the comments below. Definitely watch out the video that talks about eye contact. I have several of them on my channel. But eye contact, when you're in a very difficult conversation, will help to set yourself as the leader of the conversation. Because so many people struggle with maintaining eye contact, if you come across or interact with someone who can maintain eye contact, that shows you that there's a certain amount of control that this person has, and this person is the controller of the conversation. Now, when you are having a very, very difficult conversation with other people, you don't want the conversation to just go any old kind of way. There has to be some type of a structure, some type of a format, whether you want to call it script or whatever the case may be. There has to be some type of structure to this conversation. If not, your difficult conversation is going to end up lasting you at least 2 hours. And if you are a leadership, if you are in my direct target audience as a woman in leadership, or you are a man in leadership, your time is very, very, very precious, just like everyone else's. But in a leadership role, your time is even more so valued because there's so many projects, issues, situations that you are dealing with, and you have to be very effective and efficient with your time. And when you have those difficult conversations, if you're not able to maintain eye contact, the person you're speaking to may get the sense that this person isn't really in control. I'm going to take control. They may start to elevate their voice. They may get upset. They may express frustration. There's a lot of things that can happen when you are at that situation where you are in a difficult conversation. But your eye contact, this is something that people don't talk about. Your eye contact shows you are in control. Now, if this is something you're struggling with, maybe you're a woman in leadership and you've been in a situation where you're just not quite sure, well, how do I maintain eye contact? What do I need to do specifically? And how can I do this all the time? That's why you reach out to me for a strategy session in the description below. We'll have a brief call, talk about where you are, where you want to go, and how I can help you get there. Maintaining eye contact is critical. You're showing the person you're speaking to you are in control. I have seen many, and I'm being quite candid with you all, I've had many conversations in different aspects of my life when I was not a leader, when I was a leader, and then when I became a senior executive, and now as an entrepreneur. There's many conversations I've had that have been defined by my eye contact. Let's say you're in a situation and you're talking to someone and you notice the conversation goes into a direction that you don't want it to go. Maybe they say something that you don't like to hear, or something that is very frustrating, and you know this is a difficult conversation. I guarantee you, and I don't guarantee much, if you can maintain eye contact with that person is going to seriously think about what they are saying. There's something about eye contact, and let me know in the comments below if this has ever happened to you before. There is something about eye contact, direct eye contact, not in the form that you're looking at somebody with a scowl, not like that. Not in the form where you're just staring off into space, not like that. Where you are having direct eye contact with them can be sometimes a bit intimidating. Now, I'm not telling you this strategy to make people intimidated by you. That's not the case. Will eye contact and maintaining eye contact, can it cause people to feel a bit scared? Maybe they think and question how they respond? Yes, it absolutely can do that. And should you use that sometimes? Absolutely, you should. But if you can maintain it, it shows a level of executive presence that people most of the time do not know that either exists, or they just have never been exposed to it. Oftentimes when you do those type of scenarios, like for instance, eye contact, it helps to build up your executive presence. It helps to build up your respect. People respect people that display or exude, as someone just told me when I was talking to them earlier, confidence. If you have a hard time and you're wondering, oh, I'm not confident, this is something that I struggle with, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about you being able to keep your eyes focused on specifically what it is that you're doing, especially when you're speaking to someone, because oftentimes they are not comfortable. I say on my channel all the time, people are uncomfortable with three things. And this doesn't matter what country you're in. People are uncomfortable with eye contact, they're uncomfortable with facial expressions, and they're uncomfortable with silence. So if you can start mastering those three aspects of advanced communication, you will be in a better situation than most everybody else, which is why you subscribe to the channel. So let me say hello to One Relationship Away. Oh, hello, Alexi. How are you? Good to see you. Alexi says, make sure to smile who you are keeping eye contact. Yes, absolutely. I appreciate that, Alexi. And thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. Yes, so eye contact is very important. Smiling is important too. There are times that you will need to smile, and there's times when you do not need to smile. Now, that's something you have to work strategically depending on the situation you're in. And if you're in these conversations where you're in those under pressure, those type of conversations where it's a bit contentious or it can be stressful, you're doing a presentation to a group, or you're doing a presentation on behalf of your business, you're in an interview, perhaps you're in a salary negotiation, you may be in a situation where you have to have a hard conversation. Maybe you have to terminate someone, etc. There's times when you do not need to smile, and there's times when you need to smile, depending on what it is specifically that you are trying to convey. For example, if you are in a meeting with a group of people and everyone is having a wonderful time and they're laughing, they're joking, and we're all just together. Let's say you're doing a collaboration with a group, an event, or etc. This is a wonderful time for you to be able to have eye contact because it will make you stand out, and then make sure you're showing a smile on your face. That is very helpful because it shows that there's a certain amount of warmth that you have, but it also shows there's a certain type of seriousness that you have too. Eye contact shows that person that you are actually paying attention to them, which is why it's very important to do. Now, on the contrary, let's say you're in a situation where you are with a group of people and you are in a meeting and you're talking about a very difficult conversation. And in this discussion, someone asks you a question, or you get the sense that there's something there. And I talk about this a lot on my channel, being able to be highly observant of what other people are doing and what they're saying. Now, if you notice that someone says something to you, and perhaps they are asking for clarification, maybe they're not sure in terms of what you're trying to say, or it could be someone that just simply doesn't like you and they want to give you a hard time. That's a scenario where you want to maintain eye contact, but your facial expressions does not need to show a smile in that case. Why is that? If someone is trying to debate or argue with you or talk to you about something and try to make you look as if you don't know what you're talking about in front of a group of people, then that can make it a bit more challenging if you are smiling and you're staring at them, because then they think, oh, I knew she didn't know what she was talking about. I knew he didn't know what he was talking about. Now I'm going to prove to everybody they don't know what they're talking about. Now you may say, well, wait, these situations actually happen? Yes, they do. And I've been in those situations, which is why I want to share with you all over 20 years worth of my experience as a C-suite executive, a director, a manager, an executive coach, and a public speaker to help you on your journey, because I know this is something that many people don't talk about because they may not have been in those situations. But in that situation, you want to definitely maintain your eye contact, and your facial expressions should be neutral. We talk about this in detail on this channel. Let me see what's going on. Millie Arans. Well, hello, Millie. Welcome back, friend. How you doing today? Millie says, hey, I'm back with a bunch of Ks. Welcome back, Millie. Good to see you again. And hope your Friday is going well too, Millie. Good to see you. So we talked about the number one secret that you need to have as it relates to mastering difficult conversations. And that secret is to maintain eye contact. It is so important for you as the leader that is guiding the conversation to put yourself in that place where you are the leader of this conversation. Maintaining eye contact, having a smile, as Alexi mentioned earlier today from One Relationship Away, is very, very, very important for you to do so when the conversation is tough. So for example, if you're doing terminations, or you may have to just be that bearer of bad news, You want to maintain eye contact, but when you're trying to congratulate someone or thank them for what they've been doing, it's good to show a smile because we are all humans at the end of the day. And this is something that causes us to relate with each other, is how we are expressing ourselves, not only in the verbal context, but also in our nonverbal communication as well. Eye contact is important. As I mentioned, there's a lot of other aspects of difficult conversation that we talk about on the channel. There's several videos on my live tab that talk about difficult conversations and managing your emotions in those conversations and all types of things. So this is a good place for you to be and learn if you're trying to really go to that next level in your career and you're trying to communicate at a higher level than your peers. There's a couple of things that also can help you with difficult conversations. Maintaining eye contact if you are in front of a group of people. Now, sometimes you may be that person, that leader that's in front of the stage, and you have to be the bearer of bad news. Something's not going right with your business. You may be having to share some challenging news about your budget and etc. This is something that can come up also. So you may be wondering, well, how do I make eye contact? I'm having a difficult conversation. This is the topic of our lives today. How in the world can I have eye contact in a room full of people? Well, you can. You just need to take the time to look at every person individually. Not all at the same time, but at various times in the room, when in your conversation. So for instance, if it's a very large group, you're probably going to look a little bit more over to people that are in the front or even toward the back of the room. Now, you may not sit and look at everybody in the room because it's impossible for you to do that. But the fact that you are just looking in their direction is what makes them feel like they have been seen and that you are actually speaking and communicating with them. This is a great way to have a difficult conversation. Maintain eye contact when you are with a group of people. Now, this strategy I just shared with you about maintaining eye contact doesn't necessarily have to only be used when you are doing difficult conversations. This is a public speaking strategy that I've used over the past 20 years to engage with my audience. And when you want to engage with your audience, your eye contact is important too, because they are in a group of people and they're wanting to learn from you or hear from you or what you have to say. And if you are able to look around, even though you may not be looking at that person directly, that's okay. But if you're able to look around and make it appear as if you are looking at them, then this is a great way for you to be more engaging as a speaker. Now, I know that was a bit more in depth in terms of public speaking, but a lot of the strategies that I share with you are strategies that I've learned for the past 20 years as a public speaker that will help you in these very friendly and sometimes contentious conversations that comes up in the wonderful world of leadership. Now, if you happen to be a woman in leadership and this is something that you are struggling with or you're trying to get yourself to that next level, maybe you are in a more highly visible role, you've been promoted, you're maybe the only woman in the group or maybe the first, or maybe you just are really wanting to be a better communicator and a better leader, then definitely contact me for a strategy session in the description below. Now, if you're watching this video live or on the replay, let me know what questions you have. What is a time that you have been in a very difficult conversation, and how did that conversation go? Did it go very, very well, or did it go not too well? What happened? Let's talk about it in the comments below. We have Skyfer. Hello, Skyfer. Hope you're doing well. Skyfer says, girl, you can get it all. Okay, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from today. And if you've ever been in a difficult conversation, let me know. All right, let me see what's going on in the chat. We have Agent 10008L. Hello, welcome, welcome. And Agent says, Jesus loves you even though the world is broken. He will restore us if we place our faith in him. That way we can have a relationship with him and God the Father and live in heaven with him forever. Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that and appreciate you stopping by today. So let me know what questions you have. Earlier today, yesterday's video is a video you all may want to take a look at, especially if you are a leader and you're working with your teams in terms of how to navigate power dynamics, specifically how to influence other people to advocate for your team. I know one of the things that happens often in the wonderful world of leadership, and especially if you're a subscriber to my channel, I know you're amazing, because I know my video titles are definitely catered to a certain type of very ambitious type of individual, and that would be you. But a lot of times in the world of leadership, we struggle a bit because we're not exactly sure, how can I really advocate for my team? How can I help them improve things in their workplace? How can I help people be able to generate more revenue or get an increase in salary? And yesterday night, I explained to you, or last night, I explained to you what I specifically did as a C-suite executive and what I have done as a director in senior executive leadership roles to give you some insight in terms of how much your influence can really make a difference in terms of navigating not only power dynamics, not only improving your executive presence, but also helping you to be a better leader and someone that can be more persuasive to your direct reports or your peers or etc. and your teams and all of that. It's a very good live. We had a couple questions that came up, but it's something that I would absolutely want to encourage you all to look at, because I know many of you are struggling with the influence part of things, especially as it relates to being a leader. I hear a lot of people that are either in my target audience or outside of my target audience tell me all of the time that they just don't know, how can I influence someone? How can I be the influencer? Even though I don't necessarily have the title for it, or maybe you have a title and you still aren't able to influence people. That is why you reach out to me definitely for some support. If you're a woman in leadership, I'll help you with that. If you're outside of my target and you're a man in leadership or someone that is thinking about leadership, the videos I share here on my channel will absolutely give you some value to help you be able to navigate those challenging situations. But influence is very important, especially when you're having those hard conversations too, because you basically are building credit with other people. And how you communicate, what you say, when you say it, how you say it, and etc. All of that comes together. When you have a hard conversation with someone, then they're able to say, okay, I know how agent 10008 speaks to me normally. I know how one relationship away, Alexi, speaks to me all of the time. I know how Millie Aran speaks to me all the time. And when they are having those conversations with you and you're having the difficult conversation, it doesn't make the conversation as difficult because they have a relationship with you. You've been able to work with them or support them in some type of way and influence them in a positive way. And influence itself is not about being manipulative. It's not that at all. It's about being the person who can actually listen to other people and listen to them intently in a way to where they feel seen, they are heard, and you can find ways to support them on their journey. So let me know what questions you all have about this topic. We've talked about many things on the channel, and if you're new to me, I appreciate you being here. And if you're one of my amazing subscribers, I'm always glad to see you all here. And I will be going live again next week, normal time, typically on Tuesdays through Fridays. Wednesdays are a bit different now. I typically go live in the evenings now on Wednesdays because I have a few things changed in my schedule. But nonetheless, I'm here to support you. If you watch any of my videos and find that there's a question that you're not quite sure about, and you're just, maybe you saw a video and you thought, I really want to ask about that, just type it, text it, whatever the case may be, just put it in the comments below and I'll be able to answer you in depth. And if I feel like the question you asked requires a bit more of an explanation, I will do a video just for you and give you a shout out on the video as well. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing weekend, regardless of what part of the world you are in. And I appreciate you all so much for being here. And I appreciate my subscribers as well. And I will see you all next week in the next video. Bye for now.